Welcome to Across the Bridge. This series will explore the intersection of creativity, community, and commerce in our beautiful and diverse city of Cambridge. In our inaugural episode, we're going to dive deep into Central Square.
At the crossroads of Cambridge, Central Square lies between Harvard and MIT. It also houses government offices and a biotech industry. As a commercial and transportation hub, it is heavily trafficked, and the local businesses, public art, and community events uplift its vibrant and unique spirit.
We want to talk to some of the biggest paragons of the area, including Nabil from the Middle East, Gabe, who designed the Sunblock, and Shelley Wolfe, the new Executive Director of CCTV.
Their stories highlight the struggle to maintain authenticity and expression in the face of development and gentrification in our ever-evolving city.
Let's dive in.
I would describe Central Square as a lively, vibrant community full of good food, amazing people, and culture.
Central Square is probably one of the most live places in the city of Boston. Regardless if it's a Tuesday or a Saturday night, there's never a dull moment here, that's for sure.
It's a unique place. It's a unique place. Events like these, honestly, for the people, by the people in a sense, like, I feel as if the real way to connect with people is to let people do what they want to do.
Been here for almost 10 years, and one of the things that I've noticed is there's a lot of development, which does cause concern, because to me that means if you're building something, someone's getting pushed out. But I've also seen just the camaraderie behind you, just the celebration of today. You know what I mean? That's something that it would have been a strong presence, but I mean, look at, it's not even 8 o'clock at night, and there's a full city of people celebrating and having unity. And I think that's one thing about Cambridge itself is it's a very, very diverse melting pot place, and they take pride in that. And I think it's really dope.
I feel like it's music and dancing. It's definitely like a connection.
What makes it special? It's always changing. There's always something happening.
How close-knit the people are here and the things they're willing to do to take care of each other.
I hope to see more smaller businesses and more people of Cambridge making more of an impact on the street as owners and not just people as consumers.
Central Square does owe something to the residents of the city to kind of keep those prices low and kind of make sure that despite all the interest that's coming in the city, that it's defending the rights of the people that built it up in the first place.
I think there needs to be more action done to protect the residents and the families that live here because they're what creates the community.
Champion, tell them this is song that is the champion. Me charge for murder one, but no judge not try me call me. Me tell them murder one, tell them this is song charge for.
It's always great to see the community come together, and there's people of all ages, and there's bubbles. I hope in the future it keeps going like this, just having moments of, people of all kinds of ages coming together and seeing all the joy.
I'm here at the block party. The music is bustling. It's amazing. It's my first time in America and I can't wait to explore it.
Being a music artist, the first time I came down here, I was watching Bridgeside Cypher. And that night, I found a family, I found a place where I could belong, and also found a place where other artists were doing what I was doing, which was training and trying to get better. So that'll always be a highlight for me, going to those in Central Square, and just being able to be around a bunch of people that love music and just love freestyling. So it's special. That's my favorite memory.
Dancing, tunes.
Seeing everyone out here tonight, it's a good feeling.
A thriving business community since the 19th century, Central Square boasts a stimulating mix of retail, service, and emerging industries.
Today, I got to speak with a local Cambridge legend right here in Central Square, Nabil, owner of the Middle East, Sonia, and Zuzu.
Hello and
Thanks
welcome.
for sitting down.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. So
CCTV is always welcome. We love you guys.
Thank you so much. So tell us a little about the story, the origin.
Okay, well the story started 1973. I always wanna open a little small dining place owned by a couple older Lebanese couple from my country. They passed a place to me and my family back in 1974. In 1974, the Middle East was about 24 seats, like half a dozen tables. So right after that was way too small for us. We rented next door and expanded the place, and we turned it back in the 1975 to like a supper club. And it was like sit down, you'll watch like Middle Eastern music and belly dancers, and then we had our own jazz and rock and pop and all kind of different music. So. Middle East is about 5 venues. We have the downstairs, and we have the upstairs. We have the Sonia Club, and we have the Zuzu in the corner. And it's your home, and you're more than welcome.
So over time, obviously, this place has become kind of a sanction for artists in Cambridge. Up-and-coming artists, a lot of niche art, a lot of experimental art. Also, what led to that eventually becoming the spot in Cambridge for up-and-coming art?
Well, we grew up in a home that my mother and my parents, they love people and they love food and they're good cooks. We always cook for neighbors and friends. So we want to extend that energy to the Middle East here in Cambridge. And the musicians came and knocked our door and say, would you like to add some little action? Out of the Blue Gallery, which is a neighborhood gallery, also they knock our door and they want to hang out for the for the local artists. And we kept doing like every night a different kind of music until the mid '80s. And we have a rock promoter, Billy Wayne, God bless his soul. He came and rented the place. One of the rooms, the original room for his birthday, and he loved the place, and he said, can I get another night here, and another night, and another night? Before you know it, just the place started becoming to be known nationally. And we got so many, important and popular artists. We make them comfortable, and we love them, and so many, like Dick Dale, like Peter Wolf, Mark Salmon, Tony Bennett.
So piggybacking off that, over the 50 years you've been here, what are some of the most memorable experiences or artists you've met or hosted here? I see this wall has all these cool photos here. What are some of the most memorable people you've met?
The most memorable was Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett, God bless his soul, he called us up and he said, we would like to have Mr. Bennett perform, at the Middle East. So you are more than welcome. How about the downstairs? Said, no. We want a smaller room, the upstairs club. So we said, yeah, you are more than welcome, of course. So that night, Tony Bennett came and performed. Honestly, it was so much energy here. All the channels of Boston, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7. And the most beautiful thing about Tony Bennett that he sat in that office up there, signing autograph for people. Believe it or not, the line was all the way past CCTV. It went down to the firehouse. And he was so loving and caring, and people really loved him.
You've become kind of like an icon or legend in the area because you're one of the last singular owners as everything's getting bought up by corporations, all the restaurants nearby. You're one of the last owners who really cultivate, and cultivate art and really care about your craft and curation. So what's your opinion on like the increasing development in the area?
I'm sure they would talk about developing the building and the block and all that. But the intention always, even if that happened, the Middle East will always be part of it.
What do you think your biggest advice would be for young people, up-and-coming artists, or people trying to find their way in the world?
The word for the young artists, the young people, please welcome. This is your home. so many popular bands. They started in here, and they became so famous. It was like sold out.
You could see his face light up as he begins to tell us these amazing stories from the past. Nabil's lived so much life and provided so much art for the community. It's important that we keep Cambridge filled with life and art, and it starts with supporting people just like Nabil.
You know, it is my home, really. You know, I work probably close to 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I live right across the street. I'm a part of the community, and I love it. And as long as I'm around, my promise to the community and the musician to keep the art and the music and the warmness and the good food happening in here.
That's amazing.
As the central square in Cambridge, it is downtown Cambridge, Main Street, if you will.
Public art is a defining feature of Central Square, and community leaders actively work to curate the area to serve the people and the identity of the artists and neighborhood. In the upcoming segment, we speak with architect of the Sunblock in Central Square, Gabriel Cira. Funded by Shade is Social Justice Initiative, a climate resiliency grant for the Boston metropolitan area, the project aims to create a shaded gathering space that is both inclusive and intimate. Cira discusses the vision behind the design, the creative decisions that shaped it, and the challenges of building a structure that responds both to environmental and social needs.
My name is Gabriel Cira. I'm a practicing architect. I live in Cambridge, and I run a small firm called Cira. And we work on projects for public space and like spaces of assembly and gathering. So for this project, Sunblock, I worked with my friend and creative collaborator, Matthew Okazaki.
And so you mentioned your kind of emphasis on kind of the public impact of your design. How has that played a role in your work?
For Matthew and I, in this project, we were excited to do something that was like right in the middle of a heavily trafficked public plaza that is also open 24 hours a day. We wanted to carve like a kind of a more enclosed but public space within the public way. In the Cambridge that we know today, so much of space is gentrified, meaning that you really need to be like buying something to be there, and also the types of public spaces that are just available for people to just like hang out and do nothing or read or meet friends without having the burden of like buying something. So yeah, we wanted to address that with this project.
Awesome. Yeah, so there's definitely that public component, but there's also this question of shade and climate resilience. So yeah, tell us like more holistically about the Sunblock.
Well, I love that the cloth is billowing in,
amazing.
Which is really nice because we're getting a cool breeze through the shade mesh while also being shaded from the sun. So it's kind of, you know, the mesh has a dual purpose for that. Right. The initiation of the project started by this, the city hiring artists and designers to address the problem of a lack of shade in sunny summer months in public spaces. And this site is a good example of a very bright and sunny spot because there's no buildings right on the south side blocking us naturally from the sun. And there are some trees, but you really want the space to be like, somewhat open and hardscaped so it can be used not like a park, but more like a plaza. But also for us, it's a site where tons of people come all the time. It's really literally at a crossroads of Main Street and Mass Ave. It's also at the border between Central Square and the neighborhoods. So it's just heavily trafficked, and people really like to meet here. If they're coming from different spots, this is like a really great place to connect with people. The mesh cloth here, as well as the precast concrete stoops, are both kind of industrial components that are designed for other uses, but we're kind of combining together here in a new way. Use materials that aren't seen as being like fancy finished materials, but using them in such a way that they kind of transcend that and they become really lovely public materials. To combine the two together, we engineered a really, I think, innovative detail, which is, you can see on the four corners, there's this steel bolt plate that goes through the concrete and connects each of the four masts really solidly to their bases. which provides enough structural stability for all of the wind loads that we have on this.
And you guys won this project through a grant, it was a competition. It's called Shade as social justice. Tell me about how that process worked, how you got this opportunity.
We were assigned this site, but also we were really hoping for this site because of the reasons I said before, which is that it's so active and it's a huge challenge.
What was your intent behind this, and how, more importantly, do you think it has affected the people? How do you feel that they have interacted with it in the time that it's been here, now that it's coming to a close in the next few months?
Well, I think we imagine this space as a kind of a living room for the city that is in the middle of public space. So I've been really happy to see folks just hanging out here with groups of people as if it were their own home. So that's really just such a wonderful success for me. Every time I bike by, there's a different group of people or many groups of people arranged on the steps and hanging out or whatever, listening to music. So I think that's my favorite part, is just seeing how people use it. And I think maybe as a final note, that was a super important part of the design, is that, if we had just put chairs or benches in here, there's kind of only one way to use a chair or a bench. But with this kind of precast concrete step, you can sit on it, you can lie down on it, you can kind of sprawl out, you can walk up and down it. So it's it's a piece that invites all kinds of different creative or just comfortable uses. So it's really meant to be just you provide the imagination, this is just a setting for it, and it happens to be really cool, nice and shady, and I hope also a pleasure to be inside.
Some people refer to it as our downtown. I think it is more accurately defined as our heart.
We're delighted to welcome Shelley Wolfe, CCTV's new executive director. From its beginnings in 1988, providing a public platform for beautiful freaks, artists, and nonconformists which inhabit this great neighborhood and city, to its current role as a hub for local stories, media training, and technology literacy, CCTV has truly grown with Central Square. Shelley Wolfe, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you are a recent addition here at CCTV.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your journey prior to joining this team?
Sure. It goes way back. So I started community television back in 1998, actually. I started out as an intern and worked my way up. I was in Pacifica, California, and learned every aspect of production, from how to run the cameras to run the control room, directing and technical directing a live weekly show, to audio engineering a live musical show. That was one of the oldest shows on the West Coast. That was a live entertainment show with multiple acts. I went to Fitchburg Community Access TV station. I worked there. And from there I went back to Silicon Valley, where I managed 7 channels in the Silicon Valley area. And then the last 10 years, I actually was running just the education channel, working with students out of Philadelphia. So I got to build a studio from the ground up twice and really provide an opportunity to work, let students see that there is an opportunity out there and that this is a field that they could go into. And CCTV had always been on my list as a place that I wanted to be, and never did I think I would be the ED of that, and I have landed here, and I'm really excited to be here. So,
what role do you think community TV stations should play in the communities where they're located?
Yeah, I think just us being in the community and letting them know that we're there, it is our responsibility to make sure that everybody is represented. And again, making sure that we're not creating barriers and that people can come into our space and utilize our space, and making it accessible, whether it's people with accessibility needs, whether it's people of race, culture, ethnicity, sexual orientations, whatever. It's just, we are that community space. And I think, our mission shares that and serves that, and our values serve that, and it's really important that we maintain that. We are in a society where we're getting a lot of pushback from top politics around that, and I think one thing that really resonates for all of us is the importance of maintaining equity at our organization, and that is part of our values, and we're not going to move away from that.
Wonderful, yeah. One thing that we've seen with people that we've talked to is kind of this feeling that a third space has kind of disappeared, not only in Cambridge, but in general, like in our culture, where you're expected to buy something wherever you are. So one thing I just want to thank you for is, and the staff here at CCTV is creating that kind of third space where a community can come together without being expected to be consuming something or paying for something. So
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, creativity is where it starts, especially in a time of conflict, and again, amplifying voices and having those voices heard. We had an amazing reading the other day with around Frederick Douglass, and I think creating those spaces is just so key to what we do. And as you said, there's no charge, right? We do encourage people to donate to our work because, again, our funding is always at risk. And so we do need to diversify our funding, but we are, an open organization, and we want to make sure that we can, continue to facilitate that and make sure that it's a space where people can come in and use their voices. So,
right.
Yeah.
I want to dig into something that you said there about the funding and support. So as I understand it, feel free to correct me if I'm totally off on this, but a lot of the funding in the past has come from providers like Verizon and Comcast, who are seeing revenues dwindle because of streamers eating up more of the market. So where does that leave community TV, and what's being done to make up for that lost funding and support?
Yeah, great question. It is a challenge, right? Laws were passed in 1984 when cable was first coming out that, we were going to be given money through the right-of-way fees that were charged to cable companies to come into communities. And as you say, people are streaming more and more, and the idea of cable funding has gone down, so our funding has gone down. We are grateful for our city, who has continued to support us in that aspect, but we also know that probably one day that might not be a real resource, right? Because cable revenues are going to continue to delve down. So we do have to diversify our funding. And I think all community access centers need to be thinking about, what does fundraising look like? What does diversifying funding look like? That still maintains the equity and the level of what our organizations stand for, of being part of those community pillars. And I think the other part is we do have advocacy groups out there like the Mass Access and ACM that are doing lobbying to support us. So, those are really important things that we have to have and be advocating on a higher level to ensure that we think about different ways of funding through streaming mechanisms,
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, Shelley, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate the work that you do. We love CCTV and hope that it's a beacon for the community for years to come.
Great. Thank you so much.